One thing I just want to go over with you guys real quickly is that laying out the shower floor, I'm going to get approximately the same cut to that from that side to this side. And how I did, just took my measurement and laid it out going this way since I have enough room, and I basically just equalize left and right, or I get about the same cut. So basically I got my saw over here, got a mark on there, so basically it's going to give me approximately the same size cut on both sides. For that, these are real small tiles. They're only a 1/2 inch by about 1 1/4 inch and a half. So pretty small. You really want to avoid having to set really tiny ones smaller than this. So the bigger you can make them, the better off you're going to be when you go to set them. Going to be a lot easier. And so setting them in full sheets, not little pieces. It's real intricate stuff here. So I got it laid out front to back. I don't have it laid out the other way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it out that way. And one tip that, you really want to make sure you know which way the client wants this installed. So I would say I want to point the arrow towards the niche. And I actually did speak with the client, and that's the way they want it. So it's not going to be running the way you see it here. It's going to be running, pointing, going this way. Because that's how I'm going to run in the niche too, go up that way. It's a nice arrow right into the shower. I think it looks better that way. And client likes that as well. So we're going to start off with that. Layout going left to right and see how that looks as well. Hey guys, got a few hours into this, but it's all cut in, ready to go. I'm going to have to shift it over this way, maybe about 1/8 inch. So I'll pull back these, make a line, go by that. That way when I get over to here, I can make this gap just a little bit tighter. The tile will cover, but I just want to make sure 100%. That's it. So basically I'm going to come in here, I'm going to stand in here, set the bench, set the floor, and work on the rest. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Donnie D back at you. So today I'm going to be showing you, if you've been watching so far, how I'm installing this marble tile on a shower floor. So as always, key in your substrate using a flat sided trowel like I'm doing here. The trowel that I'm using is actually made by Sluter, but it doesn't matter, just a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch square notch trowel. So I'm using that on the substrate here, which is a shower floor. And what I'm also doing is I'm also using a Curdy trowel, which is a 1/8 by 1/8 by 1/8 square notch trowel on the back of the mosaic. So I just have a scrap piece of foam board. I spread my 1/8 inch thick thin set mortar bed on the scrap piece there. I take the sheets and I place them on there, tap them when they float, pull them off, and essentially what I'm doing there is I'm back buttering the mosaics. That way we really have an amazing bond to these mosaics here. So 1/8 on the back, 1/4 inch on the floor, and I set them in, and I use a grout float to tamp them down and go from there. So how I have this all pre-cut, I just, as I pull them off, when I dry set them, I pull off the opposite way than I'm going to set them. So if I want to set them left to right, I pull them off right to left, and vice versa. So I know exactly how I have this laid out, so I'm just going to go through it and set them from there. Okay, now we're at the most critical part of this install, the drain. Okay, now when you're installing these fluted drains, they really are the best on the market in my opinion as far as like the adjustability is. I mean, they make it pretty easy for you, but you still can make you know, mistakes, you know. We're human, right? But anyway, when you're doing this, you want to have the drain flush with the field tile there or slightly lower. I always like to aim for just slightly lower, no more than a 16th, but I try to aim for about a 32nd. That way when the water comes down there, it'll definitely drain. If it's flush and somehow it bumped up or the thin set shrunk more, you know, if the thin set shrunk more on one side than the other, whatever happened, you know, it could be high in one section. So you're always better off just going slightly lower than the field tile. Now, when I do the drain, I always like to wait till last. Now, you don't want to wait for a half hour, but you want to get it in there quick because the thin set will skin over under the drain, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, you know, I like to wait to the last part to set the tiles around the drain. Now, depending how the tile was cut, I like to use full sheets and mark them, and then just cut the sides of the drain and pull a full sheet right up there. But sometimes you do have to have pieces that you do individually. So when I do that, I make sure I put enough thin set on the bottom because they will sink. If you're using one of these fluted drains on the sides, there is like a divot there, so you know there's a lot more thin set, so it can sink. So you want to make sure you put it more than enough on the back of the tiles that you're setting around the drain that you're doing individually, so that way you can adjust them. Now it will be a little bit more messy. I like the bar walt wedges, the blue ones, and they're small. They're like kind of like a toothpick, and I can get out the thin set. I get it as clean as I can, but I don't go crazy. The main thing I want to do here is just get the tile where I want it, where the drain is, make sure everything looks good, and then I walk away. If you sit there trying to make it perfectly clean, what's going to happen is you can move the drain, you can move the tile, and you're going to be going back and forth with it forever. So after all the years I've been doing it, I found that get the tile exactly where I want it, clean it good as I can, check it, make sure it didn't move, and then walk away. Stop there, don't keep going crazy with it. You can always clean it the next day. If you wait a couple days, it's going to be a rock hard, but you say you come back the next morning, you know, 12, 16 hours later, it's still not going to be completely set. It's going to be slightly soft, so you can you know, clean it out with a wedge, something plastic. Don't use a utility knife, because if you cut through and cut your membrane below, then you're going to have a leak in the shower, and that's the last thing you want to do after you did all this work. So just take your time with this part, but like I said, once you get it where you want it and it's you know, relatively clean, walk away. Alrighty. Okay guys, I was able to set this yesterday. Just cleaning it up now. Marble, herringbone, stone tile. Set the bench as well, and the top of the curb there.